And if you live in a patriarchal society where, whoever is elder or whoever is the male, the word of the person says is king, the more reason why you should apologize is to show a new style of leadership.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am Victor Akunna.
So today we'll be considering mindful apology, the right way to apologize.
Yeah.
You would agree with me that apology in a relationship is very critical. It is impossible, it is inevitable for you to be in a close relationship with someone and not have offenses. Now, when we say apology, the dictionary.com defines apology as regretful acknowledgement of offense or failure. This is me acknowledging I have done something wrong.
Absolutely.
Or I have done something that offended you. So it's impossible, like I was saying, for you to be in a close relationship and not have to step on each other's toes. But what is critical is not that one has erred or that one feels offended, but that one has failed to apologize or one thinks it's not important to apologize. What do you think?
Yeah, someone said some time ago that a stiff apology is a second insult. A stiff apology is a second insult. Like you shared earlier on, that it's inevitable. Parents will offend their children will offend parents, best friend will offend each other at some point, spouses, as much as they love each other, they will offend each other at different times. So what we're trying to say is that conflict is inevitable.
It is.
All right, it's what we do with that conflict that matters. It's our disposition towards each other, towards our own feelings, how we interpret it, how we come across. That is the key thing. So relationships are fantastic. Relationships are designed to propel us in destiny. Relationships are designed to help us navigate life. All right. So, but one key thing about relationship is that it's inevitable for friction to happen. Even the most cozy, close, platonic, romantic relationship, work relationship, they'll go through a lot of conflict, and where people dispute, where there's some form of dispute, offend each other. So, what do you do in that situation? How do you go about it? And that's what we're looking at today.
Yes. Beverly Angel, in her book titled The Power of Apology, said, for apology to be effective, it must be meaningful. That's why I like what you said earlier. It would be like a second insult. Okay. So today we'll be considering some points you can, run with. This is one of two editions.
Yeah.
So you look out for the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the first one, I'll let you go first. This first point we'll be considering.
So the first point to be considering is having a long-term perspective. There's a man by Professor I think Edward Mansfield. He says the higher you put into consideration when you plan, the higher you rise. I like to paraphrase that by saying the longer you put into consideration in terms of building a family structure, a family system, the higher you rise, the higher your family will rise. So how does that relate to apology? Now, I remember sometimes while we were growing up, some of you may have some form of family argument or some form of family habits that we're not very happy about. For example, there are some families that no matter how much wrong they are, they will never apologize. No matter how, they will find a way to wriggle around it rather than open their mouth and apologize to you or to anyone. They will rather they will probably use body language to communicate that. So, if while you were growing up, you didn't like that says that you are now your own man, or if you're not married yet, ask yourself, what kind of family do I want to build in the next 10, 15, 20 years? How will we want us to apologize? What kind of, when there is a disagreement, how are we going to handle it? Are we going to create a stonewalling system? Are we going to raise our voices? Are we going to shout? Are we going to cut off? What exactly are we going to do? So it's about being deliberate to just say, how are we going to do this? You know why? Because if you're not intentional about this, you're going to enter what we call an auto-response. You're going to just duplicate what your parents have done or what the people that you grew up with usually do. And if that is not working, it might produce the same negative outcome. So one question I always like when we coach people, we say, how is that working for you? If you think that this is the way I am, I don't like to apologize, at least you can see that I'm sorry. How is it working for you? How is it working for strong relationships in your life? So one key thing is, the first point is, have a long-term perspective and ask yourself those questions.
Yes, I think it is important to also mention that apology must be expressed. You know, that's something you touched on when you were talking. It has to be expressed. Yes, some people will say it should be written or spoken.
Yep.
But either way, you must express it.
Absolutely.
Your body language shouldn't do the talking.
Absolutely.
It's part of it,
It's
which
part
we'll
of
be
it.
dealing with in the second part of this video.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be left to do the talking alone.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the second thing we would be considering is apology must be non-accusatory. When you get to that point where you start saying, I did this because you did this.
Yeah.
At that point, I begin to wonder, is this apology meaningful? You know, we said it has to be meaningful for it to be effective.
Yeah.
So it has to be non-accusatory. Apologize because you've erred. Apologize because you think the other person is, you respect the other person enough to apologize. Right? When we see the worth in the other person, we would see the need to apologize. Come on, if you've done something wrong, you might as well just do that. Because sometimes in the relationship at home, we sometimes would tend to take each other for granted because we see each other, it's us, you know, it's us. But at work, if you err, you'll be quick to apologize. So this is us talking about the relationship in the family. It should be non-accusatory. I shouldn't have to put it on the other person. Okay, and sometimes, you know, like when Gary Chapman in his book, the five apology languages, thank you. You know, when he was talking and he said, apology works best when you speak the language of the other person.
Yep.
Right? Everyone has an apology language, but you should be able to speak it, but it must be expressed. How can I get through to this person? I know I've erred. Okay? I'm taking full responsibility now and apologize.
And one key thing there is, so you don't say, well, I'm sorry, but that would not have happened if you had come early. That's not an apology. So maybe in a situation by the only key to the house, you took it away and then you didn't plan with your spouse. You told your spouse you'd be back at 3, so she planned with that time, and then for some reason you were probably hanging out with the boys or you were still at work or whatever. And then you say, well, that would not have happened if you had duplicated the key earlier on. No, that's not the point now.
Or
the
you would
point
not have been left outside if you had called me.
You know, apologize. Apologize first. You know, try to empathize. Try to be in the person's shoes. All right. Some people feel worse. They feel terrible when they apologize. No, that's a negative programming. All right. Some people feel apologizing makes them feel less. No, that's maturity. It takes a mature person, emotionally mature person, to truly apologize and take responsibility. Responsibility is for mature people. All right. And that leads us to the next point. We talked about thinking about the big picture. You know, thinking about the big picture. The big picture in this sense is preserving and protecting the relationship rather than trying to score some cheap goals. All right. Thinking about, now my spouse is hurt. Even though I don't think I've done the wrong thing, sometimes you have to apologize. You know why? Apologizing will most likely will open the person up for a conversation. Remember, when people are hurt, they want to protect themselves. That's self-preservatory action. You want to protect yourself from the person who is intruding, from the predator, from the person who is making the attack. Sometimes, in this case, it might be your spouse. So once the person is closing up, either through body language or through stonewalling or through silent treatment, the first thing you want to do is to apologize, even though in your head, from your point of view, you think you've not done anything wrong. Apologize and open up the channel of communication. All right. Don't think about, this is not the time to prove your point. It's not the time. This is easier said than done, because the natural tendency of the human mind is to protect yourself, protect your own name, protect your viewpoint, protect your opinion. But let's think about the bigger picture. what is the bigger picture here? Not about winning small battles, but about winning the war. What is the war in this case? Winning the marriage, winning the relationship. Don't win the argument and lose the agreement. Someone will say, don't win the argument, all right, and lose the agreement, which is more important. Because once you lose the agreement, it impacts many things. Impact on parenting, impact on communication, impacts on many things. So think about the big picture.
Yeah, when you were talking, something just came to mind. Are we saying you should only apologize when you offended? No.
Absolutely.
And why is that? Sometimes, when we say offense, okay, because you're acknowledging offense and all that, it doesn't mean on your own part, you might be thinking, I've done nothing wrong. Right? It could just be a misunderstanding. It could just be that my actions were misinterpreted. But the fact is that someone is offended. Right? So this is where that point becomes so critical. Let's think about the big picture of the family.
Absolutely.
Put the family in the center of it. What matters here is that at the end of the day, we're stronger together. Okay? We can't allow something so little tear us apart. But you want to say something?
Yeah.
So this is really critical, and it's something I thought I should mention. You may just feel, I've not wronged him, I've not wronged her. Okay, why do I have to apologize? You apologize because the relationship demands it. It's just important. It's worthy that you do that.
That's a powerful one.
Okay. So the next one is that you must be intentional about growing and changing. You touched on emotional maturity. It's just important that yes, you've done this wrong today. You do not just carry on repeating, going over and over and over again because it's convenient to apologize. And yes, I would apologize and he or she would forgive anyway. No, that's not the right attitude to doing things.
Absolutely.
I must look at the fact that I've done this. How would it feel if I carry on offending? Even at work, for those of us in the workplace, if you carry on erring on the same matter, you would be receiving queries, and in no time you'll be shown the door out.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's not take each other for granted because it's the family. Okay, it might even be your child who is so young and you think he or she doesn't understand. No, they do. These things have their own impact. Okay, so you must be intentional about correcting whatever it is you did or you do that doesn't go down well with the other.
Absolutely. And let's just throw this in. So we looked at some of the key mindsets about apology. We looked at long-term perspective, non-accusatory, building the big picture, and then being intentional about growth. Don't just apologize and then say, well, I've apologized. You must ensure that you make progress so that every time we don't keep revisiting the same action.
Yes.
All right. So I wanted to say this. And if you live in a patriarchal society where, whoever is elder or whoever is the male, the word of the person says is king, the more reason why you should apologize is to show a new style of leadership. The leadership that's cultured like that has been inherited where might is king or gender is king. No, lead by example. All right, so if you are a parent, you might think, why will I apologize to my child? What you're doing is that you are transferring a bad culture to the next generation. Let it stop with you. If you're a man, don't say I cannot apologize to my wife. Let it stop with you. Be the first to apologize. Be the leader. Be the change you want to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi would say. Be the change you want to see in the world. All right. So sometimes you see some leaders, they do things and they don't think they need to come out to the public and apologize to the people that voted them in. They feel it's belittling of their dignified office. And and this is something that people learn as boys. Learn as girls, and then they become leaders, and then we're suddenly wondering how come he didn't come to apologize. No, these things start from the family. The family is the smallest unit of the society. So whatever change you want to see in your society, model that change and be that person who is going to say, you know what? See, one person, someone says that you may say, I'm just one person, what difference will I make? Someone say, whoever says one is not enough. has never been in the same room with a mosquito. That was really funny when I read that. Explain that. You know why? Because if you've been in a room in a place that has just one mosquito and it's making that noise and you want to really sleep, or it's biting you and infecting you with malaria, I'm telling you, you've never been in a room with a very annoying parasite, creature. That's when one person can make a difference. All right, let that difference come with you.
Yes. Okay. So do not get expected. Yeah. Our second edition will be dropping soon, and in fact, we'll be talking about some practical ways, some of the things you need to take on board to make in order to apologize the right way. Okay. Until we come your way again, please do not fail to subscribe to our website, to our YouTube channel, Foundation for Family Affairs, and turn on your notification bell so you can get notified each time videos drop. Yes.
Thank you all of you that have been subscribing, sharing our videos. We see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Until we come your way again, it's goodbye from us.